So if you're watching this video, you probably need real estate business right now. Like you needed real estate business yesterday in your business. So I get it, I've been there. And when you're first getting started in the business, it's extremely hard to figure out what the best avenues are for you to get that continuous amount of leads coming into your business. And honestly, even when you're years into the business, you might still go through like lulls in your business where you're still kind of really figuring out the best way to get continuous leads. It's always a problem in this business. So what can you do to solve this problem and solve this problem for good? So a lot of times, if you are getting started in real estate, different brokerages or people in the business in general will tell you to go to your sphere of influence, which is people that you know, or go to community events, really just building a brand for you in your community. Both those things are great ways to get business. However, both of those things are great ways to get business long term. I don't like relying on those things for short-term business. That's kind of like cherry on the top business where I don't want you to ignore it in your career, but if you are getting started, I don't want you to rely on that or expect that to give you immediate business because that's almost never the case. So what can you do to get business today? You need to go after people that are already kind of raising their hand of wanting to buy and sell, right? So what you could do is there's ways, of course, to generate buyer leads if you want to go the buyer route. Now, the thing about going with buyers, if you need business right away, is that buyers are most likely going to close faster if it's a motivated buyer than a seller would if you get a listing tomorrow. Because sometimes, unless you're in an area where it's an extremely hot seller's market, sellers like listings can take a little bit of time to get it sold and closed. Now, if you go the buyer route, the other problem is that most of the time to find a qualified buyer that you don't know personally, or it's not a referral, you have to pay to get those buyer leads. So where do you go? Zillow, Realtor.com, some other sites, you do Facebook ads, you do some other type of landing page ad that you're driving traffic from somewhere else to get the buyer lead. That all costs money. Now, the other way that you could do that is if you're not on a team or you're willing to partner with a team and become a member on that team, you can pretty much always get buyer leads from that team. So they might have a flow of buyer leads from Zillow, StreetEasy, sites like that, or they might have like overflow from their listings of buyers coming in that are not represented, which they might be willing to give to you for a split in the commission. So you both would get the deal at the end of the day. Now, that's a really good way to kind of get your career going when you're just getting started. I did that myself. And to this day, working with buyers is actually harder than working with seller clients long term. But in your career, if you really need to get going fast and you don't know how to get that listing business right away while you're trying to learn that, it's not a bad strategy to partner with somebody and be on their team and learn that way. I do believe in that. Now, on the seller side, what you can do to go after leads today that could convert is going after hot leads that are already raising their hand, like I said in the beginning of this video. So what does that mean? So you might have heard of expired listings, for sale by owner listings. Those are two extremely common ways that people are trying to sell their home basically right now, and that you can get those leads and potentially convert them to a listing. Now, the problem is that everybody is going after that type of lead source. It's been around for years and years and years now, and it's not new to the business at all, and it's not a secret. You probably have, if you just started real estate, you probably already heard of those two type of lead sources because they're just so common. Now, I definitely think that you should still go after them in your business. However, you just need to understand that there's a lot of competition. So you need to do things to stand out, and you need to have a very, very well-kept follow-up plan to keep on top of those leads week after week, month after month. Now, another type of lead that you can start going after that isn't talked about as much, that is also kind of a hand-raising lead, is pre-foreclosure. So pre-foreclosure means that they've missed a few payments, and depending on where your location is, that can mean more months than others of missed payments, but they are about to go into foreclosure with their state. So what you can do is figure out a way to get that data in your location. Now, it does vary from place to place. There are a lot of investor-based real estate sites that you can use to get that information, I believe in all 50 states. So the site that I use particularly is called batch leads. That's the one I use. I'm also a real estate investor, so I do use batch leads on the investment side as well, but you can use it as a real estate agent as well. It's the same data. You're going after pre-foreclosures no matter what. So that's a way that you can get that data. Now, pre-foreclosure is tricky because they either need to start paying their mortgage to stay in their home, or they need to sell the home because they can't afford to live there and they're kind of in a tough situation. So you have to feel out that situation with each individual person that you talk to. But the problem is you can't call somebody, well, you can, I guess, call somebody on the phone and be like, hey, I know that you're about to go in foreclosure. What do you want to do with your home, right? That's very, very insensitive. So I guess the way to handle pre-foreclosure is kind of talk to them about, hey, do you have an interest in selling your home? Kind of like pretending like you don't know the situation that they're in, which might seem like conniving in some way, but I kind of think it's better than the opposite way of like berating them, being like, I know you're about to get foreclosed on. I know you're about to get foreclosed on. Let them open up to you if they're really having an issue and if they feel like you can really solve their problem. Because at the end of the day, I know you need business right now, but you have to remember, you have a duty in this business to solve people's problems. Like, that's why you're doing this. You're not in this business just to make money and go home at the end of the day and talk about all the money you made. That's not why you should be getting into this business. And even if you need immediate business right now, your job is to help people. So somebody in pre-foreclosure definitely most likely needs help. So be that person who helps them, and I promise you, it will come back to help you in return. So that's what I would do to get immediate business. And honestly, these are all things that I do in my business right now just to get business on a regular basis. So I'm not saying ignore the neighborhoods, ignore the farming, ignore the sphere of influence. Definitely don't do that. But if you need to get immediate business right now and get some cash flow going, focus on the hand-raising business, people who are looking to buy and sell today.